Do you sort of wish that you were still sort of competing so you could take part in a home Olympics?
Oh, definitely. I wish I was probably 10 years younger. I might be able to get away with it. But the age of 50, as I will be next year, is that I dream about making comebacks and being part of a home games. But realistically, it's not going to happen. But of the world's best athletes coming to our shores in 26 different sports, I can't think of a better celebration of my 50th year of watching those athletes compete.
And if it was in London in 2004, would you have stayed on?
I think I would have done. It would have made me 42. Greg Searle, who is a previous rowing gold medalist, was out the sport for 10 years. He's actually going to be 40 next year and competing after 10 years out. He's back, he's won 2 silver medals. And you're thinking, yeah, I wonder if I could have done it. But yeah, no, I think I would have carried on if it was the games straight after the one that I did retire at.
And how will it be different for the British athletes competing in London as opposed to Beijing or Athens?
I think it's been different so far is that because when you're staging the games, there's so much more interest within the country. The government wants the British team to perform well, so actually there's more resources put into the British teams on their build-up towards the games from that point of view. So that when you're sort of hosted and awarded the games, you have something like 7 or 8 years build up towards those games. So Beijing was very much a stepping stone towards London. Very few of our athletes retired after Beijing because they all want to be part of that. But then the home crowd, the majority of the stadiums will have more Brits in than anybody else, and that really makes a difference from the athlete's point of view.
Okay, and London 2012, they said this week that they might be using cleaners and security guards as doping spies. I was just wondering your views on that.
That's the first I've heard of that. Anything to make sure that if there are cheats out there, they get caught, I'm all in favour of. Cleaners as spies may be a little bit too much, but actually some people have been caught from drug abuse at major championships from the rubbish that has been kicked out of rooms and stuff like that. I would find it extremely difficult. I'd imagine that anybody's doing anything in the security of the Olympic Village itself, because security is very tight right the way through, and London's going to be no exemption from that. But yeah, we don't want drug cheats in any of our sports. So if we can try and stamp that out, that would be ideal.
And is it possible to have a drugs-free Olympics, and is enough being done?
I think that there'll always be people trying to push the boundaries back. Drugs always seem to get a very high issue within that, but I believe actually within elite sport there probably isn't as much cheating going on now as there used to be a few generations ago. I think the 50s and 60s, before there were drug testing, I think there was a lot going on then that we didn't know about, and now that we have very tough testing, it makes it harder, but there's certainly people that will try and get around the rules somehow from doing that, and we have to try and be one step ahead, not one step behind. Okay,
if I can ask you a bit about business, the corporate hospitality tickets, they don't come cheap. Do you think the prices are fair?
I think that they are very top end from that point of view. There hasn't been VIP packages, hospitality at the Olympics before, and the proof will be in the pudding, won't it? If people go out there and buy them, then there is a certain market to be able to be looked after the way that Prestige are talking about of looking after their clients. And certainly the presentation that we just saw was absolutely stunning. The element of details, the pavilion they're putting together, I think it is very fitting towards Olympic Games. People might complain of saying actually that why is it that the rich and famous that can afford to go from that point of view. But actually what LOCOG have done cheap ticketing for a certain amount, 5 areas of different price brackets. There are some free tickets to some of the schools within the London area, as well as this VIP packaging on it. And I think the IOC will see the way that Prestige are doing it this time around, and I think it will become integrable with the bidding for the games, and it will be part of the whole process. But I don't think that takes it away from the games. I think it actually adds to the games, because obviously what it is about bringing more revenue in to the host city. and any finance that we can make as a profit has got to be a good thing of covering the debts that are being run up for the staging of the games.
And what sort of effect does corporate hospitality have on a sport like rowing?
Well, I've seen the pavilion that they're talking about putting at Dawn in. It's very, very stunning from that point of view. And actually they've sold out already with 10 months to go of most of the days at the rowing venue. So I'm really pleased that the sport of mine that doesn't really get very much coverage outside the Olympics is that are being able to sell tickets right at the high end through the hospitality packages, right the way down to the cheaper tickets as well. We can have 30,000 people at the rowing venue, possibly more if we can find some way of getting maybe another bridge in over the river, temporary bridge, and from that point of view. But I think it will make a stunning venue from that point of view, and it's the volume of people that makes the Olympics so special. I've competed at World Championships where you only get a few hundred people going. To have 27,000 people in Sydney as my last games was very, very special. To have 30,000 here in London is going to be amazing.
And is corporate hospitality important for the financial health of a sport like rowing?
Yes, I think it is. Obviously, the sport itself is not going to benefit from the corporate packages that are being put on towards London. It's about the low-cog and the benefits from that point of view of the overall budgets. But if rowing can be seen to be doing its bit of bringing the finance in for the Olympic deficit, if you want to call it in that way, that puts my sport in a much stronger situation. We're always sort of earmarked of a sport that has been a founder sport, always been involved in the Olympics, but saying, well, it's a very expensive sport to run, because the Olympic venue isn't chosen on its rowing facilities. So sometimes new builds have to be made from that point of view, and that's not cheap. So if we can justify that selling corporate packages as well as every other tier of ticketing and be sold out, that's saying, well, no, this is financially worthwhile keeping this sport in the Olympics.
And Klaus, did you get any tickets through the ballots, or are you buying hospitality tickets?
I put in a fair amount of tickets for the ballot, and actually ended up with 4 tickets. So a little bit disappointed myself that I didn't get the tickets that I wanted from that.
What were those for?
I've got 2 tickets for synchronised swimming for my middle daughter, and 2 tickets for my son in basketball for the first week. Within basketball, you're bidding for tickets that you don't know who's qualified yet, so you don't know who you're actually going to go and see. But he loves basketball, and to see that at Olympic level will be pretty impressive. We're just a little bit disappointed that we didn't get tickets as a family to go and see some things, but there are still some tickets available in January, which we'll be trying for. And so I've got a media pass, so I can get into all venues. My wife is the team doctor to the rowing team, so she's catered for the first day. So it's really the second week we're looking forward to trying to get our hands on some tickets as a family to go and see.
And how is the British rowing team looking? How many medals do you think is realistic?
The British rowing team is very, very strong indeed. Is that we've just had the World Championships 3 weeks ago. We won 10 medals in Olympic events. There's 14 Olympic events, and we medalled in 10 of them. 3 gold, 3 silver, 4 bronze, and actually came away a little bit disappointed that we didn't do better than that. So actually at home water next year, I think that we possibly could get more than 10 medals, and hopefully some of them a high percentage of bright coloured.
And finally, what advice would you give to them going into a home Olympics with the spotlight on them and the pressure?
I've never had the opportunity of competing at home games, so I can't really give them the advice of what that's going to be like. But they're a very, very experienced team. One of the advantages that rowing has is that it's not a whole totally new team each time. So there's a number of athletes that have competed at a number of games. And one of the things that we share is our experiences. So they'll be talking as a group of their experience of past games. I will be invited along to give my views of the games that I've been to, and what the media are looking from that point of view, what the spectators are looking from that point of view, as well as keeping their focus on what they've got to do is go as fast as they possibly can from 2,000 metres from A to B and hopefully cross that line first.
Steve Redgrave, thank you very much.
Pleasure.